Hi, guys. I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right, we're live
We're live!
in person, in the flesh.
Huzzah! I get to lay on the couch today while we record. It's
I know.
great.
When's the last time you got to do that?
Why don't we have alcohol?
I've got water. I feel like we drank a lot of alcohol the past few days, so.
You have. That's true. I do have water too. Let me tell you guys. At the beginning of this podcast, when we started it, Ryan hated whiskey. And now his drink of choice is an old fashioned.
Did I hate it, or did I just like. I feel like it was. I just don't. It was one of those things like when you're a kid, you don't try something and you're like.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I tried it. I went to like the tastings and things, but I just never
Yeah.
thought just adding simple syrup to something would make it actually tolerable or
Yeah.
enjoyable.
That's true, I guess. You are a bad trier, I will say that.
Yeah.
You're pretty terrible at actually tasting things.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But anyway, he makes one of the best old fashions that I've had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we made use of your blueberry syrup that you made from something that was about to go bad, I guess.
No, they were just like frozen blueberries that I needed to get out of my freezer that were like really old and I was never gonna use. So.
Mm-hmm.
But they were the good ones. They were like the Y-Man ones, like the really nice little blueberries.
Nice blueberries.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of that syrup left, so we made quite a few drinks with that.
Yeah.
Some gin drinks, some old fashions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm at Ryan's house and I'm leaving in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Ryan will be excited for that. To get his studio.
It's just
back.
different to have like people around where it's like you don't realize the downtime.
Yep.
To yourself, even just to like work, just to like make your own schedule, I guess, of like, oh, I'm working right now, so when I get done, you know, we might like Becca might want to do something or might want to like talk or whatever, or we got something we got to do.
Yeah.
Rather than like, okay, I can set my own schedule and do my own thing without interruption, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, welcome to my life for the past 2 years. That's probably the one thing that I've not liked the most about doing van life is like having to be around people all the time, which I know that I've made that my choice. And I could like go other places, but also with doing the pottery, it's kind of hard to not do it that way. But
I mean, do you enjoy if you were just out somewhat like camping, I guess?
yeah,
You were on your own without even having to go see anybody.
yeah, it's great.
You like it? Yeah.
But also, you do get lonely after a while too.
Yeah.
You know, so I
Like, could you do it for, like, do you have a cap of days, like 3 to 5 days, or is like a couple days a bit like on the verge?
probably a couple weeks.
A couple weeks just by yourself?
Yeah,
Okay.
easy. But also that includes like going into town and getting like essentials.
Right.
Yeah.
But you like call people regularly too, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like you're completely by yourself, I guess.
Right. But also, we haven't been in the, like, you've been gone, I've been gone. I feel like we did a good job at, like...
Balancing it. Yeah, you've pretty much been here the whole month, so it's
No, I
near the
was
end of
gone
our-
for a whole week.
Well, I'm saying, like, you got here.
Oh, yeah.
You got here at the beginning of the month, and then we were kind of passing by each other a lot this
Basically, yeah.
This month, yeah.
We're just, like, saying hi and then saying bye. Yeah. So... let's see. We just had my second show of the year. Ryan's 1 billionth show of the year.
15th show or something like that.
Yep. The Coffee Festival that we do together every year. It's our 3rd year doing it together. His 4th year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great.
Yep. Music hall. I feel like once you do it at least like the second time you don't really get a groove. I feel like you kind of got to hit it that third time or fourth time, and you're like, okay, like I know what to expect. You kind of get a feel for like what's quote unquote like regular or expected.
Yeah.
And then what feels like out of the normal, or you feel like you have more flexibility to make some different decisions, I guess, with the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like your work has been pretty different each time you've been there.
Yeah, if I was just consistent at all, I'd probably beat you.
You wanted to beat me. You said you were going to beat me.
I know. We all know that was me just joking. But I did beat you the first day. I got 37 sales and Ryan only got 36.
That's true.
I also made $800 less than him, but it doesn't matter.
In the first day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, did you see your average price point? Like or your average sale? Did you see?
I think it was like $29.
Yeah, because your items that you had some different items this time, and mine have been pretty much the same. So I do have to narrow down my options on the table at the show pretty regularly because we split the table. I guess it's a 10 by 10 or is it an 8 by 8?
It is 10 by 10.
I think it's 10 by 10, yeah. So we each get a table, and it's way less space than we'd normally have in our own 10 by 10 booth. So
my average sale was $28.19. I made a total of 67 sales. The second day was definitely not better than it was fine, but I mean, I made less sales the second day.
Yeah. My average sales were $39 and 72 transactions.
Yeah.
So just a few more.
Yeah, but also it should be noted that this year I went in with charms and charm bracelets. So...
And earrings and cups.
I sold a fair amount of the fancy cups. I think I sold $700 in fancy cups.
Were you surprised by that, or...
636. I wasn't necessarily surprised.
Because I feel like last year they weren't in, an optimal spot, because they were down below. They were kind of below the waistline, so it was hard to see. But
also, fancy cups were a lot less money this year.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I think you had a couple price points last year. You had, a $50 and a $100.
Yeah, and this year it was $58 and $38.
Okay.
A lot less. Yeah. And then I sold charms, and that includes, ceramic charms, which is, I did snowmen, trees, mugs, and then little tiny flat ones. And, oh, man.
Flat ones with, stamped designs on them.
Yeah, stamped designs. And I sold 365 of the charms. And that includes metal charms because I wanted to kind of
$365 worth?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to round out, having coffee charms and blah, blah, blah. So, and I made necklaces and bracelets for people. So that was fun.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well. You had a good setup for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the room is not that large, so people tend to make laps anyways.
Yeah.
And they can kind of curate a personalized, necklace or bracelet, and then you just work on it for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I sold 300 of the espresso cups. $300 worth.
Yeah.
And $160 of earrings. Whereas last year I sold $800 of earrings. But it was the main display.
Yeah, the primary focus was the earrings last year.
Yeah.
There was somebody that was looking for a replacement because they broke one of the earrings from last year.
Yeah, and I was like, sorry, here's Val's number.
Yeah, she's the last one that has them.
Yep.
And then I demoed on Saturday. That was fun. So they do they do like demos every year at the show. It was normally the focal demo is the latte art showdown. So they have, I think, 20 or so different baristas that do latte art, and they compete head to head, and it's kind of like a bracket style all the way down to one winner. You got to see that more up close. We kind of can see it from a distance, but
It was hard to see because the TVs were bad.
yeah, the quality of the camera to the tethering and stuff didn't look.
It just didn't have enough contrast, is what it was.
Yeah, but you got to see them. I thought you went up and saw the actual lattes up close.
I didn't. I just went up close enough so I could see the TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they always get a great crowd for that. So that's kind of the focal demo that they do, but there's other demos that are more educational about, the origins of certain coffees or teas, and then they talk about organic, like, was it beanless coffee or not beanless coffee?
I don't know.
Or maybe, yeah, they've got different presentations that they do. And then I submitted for a presentation to throw mugs and pull handles. So we had a good chunk of time. I had like 45 minutes. And I took my small tabletop wheel and some mugs in a damp box. So it's pretty good. I had, plenty of time, threw 4 mugs, handled 2 mugs, and then answered some questions with the audience and kind of talked about my work and, my process. And then a lot of folks asked. Most of it was like 3 or 4 people that were asking questions. So they were asking about, the business side of it. They were asking about sourcing some materials for like having your own studio. Like, how much does a kiln and a wheel cost? How would you go about getting that? Where do you fire your stuff? Where do you get your clay from? What kind of work do you like to make versus are you like enjoying yourself now that you're this many years in? Like, there's a good assortment. So I probably got 3 to 4 sales from folks that were at the demo, and people seem to like it. So I think I'll try to do it again. It was pretty fun. So
I thought that this year was, I don't know if it felt more busy than last year. Both of us did a little bit less than we did last year, if I recall.
I pretty much did the exact same.
Did you do the exact same?
Yeah, I was like right at $3,000.
I thought you were like 32.
I think.
You check. But it felt to me like it was maybe a little less busy than last year on Saturday, but more busy on Sunday. That's what it kind of felt to me. Also, we had another friend that was doing the show.
That was $15 less this year than last year.
Oh, interesting. Hannah from Three Lick Pottery.
Three Lick Pottery.
Harrisburg,
Kentucky. They're in central Kentucky.
I always mess up the Three Lick thing because I always think about the Yeti. Yeah, so Three Lick Pottery, and she did really well. She
did better than we did.
Yeah, she did way better than we did. So, yeah, she did super well. She had almost only mugs and cups, right? And then you sold a lot of garlic graters and so on. And then I had what I had. So, anyway, but yeah, I felt like it was comparable to last year.
I don't know, I wonder because you're normally on the aisle, like the main aisle.
I am.
Last year, so I wonder if your perception was that it was slower this year because of you being on the side aisle instead this year.
I mean, I think that it definitely matters,
Uh-huh.
And if that is the case, then you would have essentially
did better, right?
No, you would have done. You making the exact same as last year means you made less. Because.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because that side is a quote unquote better
the
side.
Same?
I made about $200 less.
$200 less. Okay.
Yeah. But I can't be compared. I don't think
your
that
items would need to be the same.
It's not really possible for me to have a comparable. Like, if I could get my shit together and like. No, I don't think that I'll ever have the same thing from year to year because I'm just too off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, But yeah, it was good. We both have people that came with our stuff to the coffee festival. That was fun to see.
Yeah, there's always a handful, like, 10 or so people that bring their own mug or cup to the event and drink out of it with all the samples, because they get, little 2-ounce samples all over the place throughout the event. Mm-hmm. And they've got these biodegradable, like, all the cups and everything people are using. The festival, because it's hosted by the Ohio River Foundation, like, they don't want anything that's not recyclable or biodegradable. Compostable, yeah.
Yeah, so every single thing is compostable, and, like, we've said this before, but they take every single trash bag is clear, and then they take them to the back, and then they sort through absolutely everything and put them in the respective trash cans that they need to go into, and it is wild. I told them this year, I think I told them this last year too, but I was like, you guys need to be in the middle. They should just be in the middle of the conference.
Yeah, have everybody see them sorting it so they know what's going on.
Like what effect they have,
Right.
Yeah.
They were a little bit further out, so if you did walk toward the bathroom, you could actually see them sort of right there. So they were a little bit more
visible this year
than in the past. So I wonder if people did like see them.
Yeah, I brought little tiny espresso cups to do little sample cups, and I sold, what's 300 divided by 20? 60?
Sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot.
You didn't sell 60 of them.
I did not sell 60 of them.
20 times 5. You get 15, right?
Yeah.
They're 20 a piece, right?
Yes.
So 5 makes 100.
Oh, I sold 15 of them.
15 of them, yeah.
Which is not enough. There should have been more people that...
Yeah, you sold... I think you made about 50 or so, right?
I made 50. I knew they wouldn't sell. It's like you always are excited about something and they never sell.
Well, no. It was the first time you ever made them.
True. But...
like, if you took these to another show, like, it might take a little time, but, like...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was, like, a good show for them to be at, because people are...
Yeah.
People that appreciate that are going to be at that kind of show.
For sure.
But, like, I think you could sell those online and they would do okay.
Yeah, I'll sell the rest of them online. I just got to get my shit together.
Are you taking those this week to Unataza?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's there's a coffee shop that I sold some mugs to, and I've worked with before in Dayton, Kentucky, that were there, and Becca's going to have some mugs there. A few mugs there.
Little espresso cups.
Yeah. It fits with their vibe, too, because it's very, like, bright and cheery and...
Yeah. Very Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So that was our weekend. Oh, we didn't say our final totals.
I feel like I said mine. Mine was $3,000... This total collected $3,016.
Oh, and also everybody should know that traditionally, me and Ryan literally always are $1,000 apart on this show. Like, to the $50, essentially. So I made total collected $2,033.06. So
pretty close.
Pretty close. Yep. Good shit.
Good shit.
Good shit. I'm happy about it. I can pay all my bills for the most part.
Yeah.
Lots of medical bills.
I mean, obviously we've been doing this show together for a few years, but like that's a good show. That's above average show than what you normally do.
Yeah.
At shows, so
yeah.
Like that would be one that you would there's a reason you come back to it.
Well, yeah.
Besides us doing it together.
Yeah, well, and I just like to do, I mean, it's a fun show.
Yeah.
I think that, especially this show, like, obviously, if you've met me, you know that I will talk to you and like, make friends with you quickly. And last year we had the cheese lady next to us, and she brought me 3 bricks of cheese this year and just gave them to me. And, like, she was so nice, you know? And we were so bummed. I was so bummed that she wasn't our neighbor this year. But, she was still there because they were sponsoring it. And then Kevin was our neighbor this year, and he was super nice.
Yeah.
He sold out of his stuff. So.
Yeah.
And then the guy, like, 2 booths over, last year I saved him with an Uncrustable. And I didn't
he remembered that. You didn't remember that.
I
He
didn't
mentioned
remember
it when
that.
we were setting up on Friday.
Yeah. And, like, so I think that this shows especially... Oh, and the people on the other side... she bought one of my fancy cups last year, and then she kind of, like... She messaged me a couple months ago and was like, are you going to be at the coffee show?
What is that, the EB Coffee place?
Yeah,
Or
EB Coffee.
Okay, yeah.
And then they bought some of my espresso cups to, you know, pour shots out of. And so it's cool to just have those type of connections and, like, go back year after year.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like... It seemed like there was more potters there, too, besides, you know, Hannah being there, but... And maybe it's because Queen City was, like, right catty corner to us, too, that...
No, there's 5 potters. Last year there was only 3.
Queen City's always there. Us, Queen City.
Are
Are you counting us as 2?
We're counting, us and Queen City is 2, and then the Pottery Mama was there last year. That's 3. So there was 3 people there last year, and then we added Hannah. And
Mike was there last year too. Mike O'Neill. That was right next to Hannah. He's been there the last few years.
Was he there this year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
He was right next to Hannah.
So 6.
Yeah. Good chunk.
Good chunk of potters.
Yeah. The show's been slowly, like, branching out with other things besides just being coffee, tea, and, like, the sporadic artisan.
Yeah.
So there were some other another jeweler there, and
she said that she does, I talked to her a little bit, she says that she does the Columbus one.
the Columbus Coffee Festival.
She must live there. And then Judy's been, like, asking her to do this one.
Oh, yeah.
For years, and so she did it.
Yeah, I'm considering doing that one next year.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. It's the same weekend as St. James Art Fair in Louisville, so I would like to get into that one. But, you know, the crowd of a coffee festival feels easier than dealing with the hustle and bustle of
St.
a
James.
huge art fair that's 3 days. And,
Yeah.
like, I've heard good things about sales, but, like, if it's a headache, I don't know.
Where is St. James?
It's in Louisville.
It is?
Old
Okay,
Louisville.
that's the one in Louisville.
It's a really big one in Old
Yeah.
Louisville.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder, these charms might make me want to do shows next year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun doing the charms.
I mean, if anything, the setup's easy with just
So
charms because
easy.
everything is so contained.
Yeah, it's so easy. And, like, I want to make, like, little egg charms and, like...
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be very easy to make charms, too, with decal paper. You know?
Uh-huh.
Cut them out really small.
I mean, I think, was there certain ones that people gravitated to most? It seemed like the mugs as earrings were popular, but I don't...
Yeah.
Like, is that what was most popular?
I feel like that was pretty popular. Any like, food items were really popular. I think that if I had, like, flowers, they would have been popular, but since it was the coffee festival, I wanted to keep it kind of more themed.
But yeah, I mean, that makes it a little more seasonal if you can really make charms out of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I like selling the metal ones, too, though, with the clay ones. I thought it was a good mix. Gives people an option.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So is that... Because you were working on that, I mean, the product to get ready for the show for the last... I mean, basically since you got here.
Yeah, with a week of break to go to Andrews.
Yeah.
You didn't ask a question.
Oh, I was just... I was going to ask, like, were you... Like, what do you think you're looking forward to for the, like... the rest of the year for the next like month or so with selling?
Well, the next month I will be.
Or well, you're not necessarily selling, I guess.
No, but next month I'll be doing workshops. I have 4 workshops, technically 5 workshops. In the month of November, and starting on the 2nd, ending on the 30th, and I have I think I have the week of Thanksgiving open. I'm gonna stay with Cheryl Krebs.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so
Full steam ahead teaching.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Workshopping.
So I'm going to hopefully I'll just lay out the charms at the workshop, and like people can make them themselves, or however they want to do it. I gotta get better bindings for the stuff. I have a few things to return.
In the workshops, what are the workshops?
Jewelry making workshops. So pendants and earrings, and or charms. But yeah.
Do you have spots open for them still? Or do you have a place where people can find what they are? Because you're about to go, like, now. And this is going to come out on Saturday.
That's a good point. So, I have... Okay, so the first one's in Edgerton, Ohio. I doubt anybody in Edgerton other than Cody listens to this podcast. Since it's
Is it close to a big...
Literally a village.
Edgerton, Ohio.
And that's like east of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then I'm headed to Pennsylvania, and then I'm gonna go to visit L&L. Just talked to Dimitri today.
Love it.
On the 8th. And then I'm headed to Statesville to visit Speedball and go to Create Statesville, which is the studio in Statesville that Speedball like kind of works with and is close with. And we're gonna have two workshops there, and then on the 6th, that's the, let me get my calendar on so I don't mess up. So on the 11th and the 13th, there is workshops in Statesville at Create Studio, and then on the 16th there's a workshop in Charleston, South Carolina, called Studio Union. And then on the 30th there's a workshop in Birmingham, Alabama called Make BHM. And that's on the 30th.
Nice.
So
you don't have like a link tree or something that's got...
No, but I'm working on it.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm going to have you videotape me doing a little thing tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, or Rachel or something.
Yeah. Like having I just pictured the list with like dates - city.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And just a straight list, and then people can just click whichever one's closest to them if they want to do it. Because each one is not super large. Like, what is it, like 6 to 10 people? Or 10.
I said that my top was 25. The one in North Carolina, the one in Ohio, Edgerton, Ohio, they are in a very small town, so we moved the price down, and also just so that they could,
they could get in, because there's not a ton of... You're not going to get a ton of outside people. Right.
So, and she's already got 5 people, so I'm really excited about that, actually.
It's probably good to ease into it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, like, she didn't even know if she was going to get anybody,
That's good.
So, and that's where Cody Mosier lives. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm going to teach at his high school on Friday. So we'll see how quickly I get kicked out. And... but yeah, I think Create Statesville has some space, and the Studio Union one has a lot of space too. Mm-hmm. And she was like so responsive when I sent out emails to all of the people to do workshops, and I created this like long note. I was like so organized, and I sent out emails, and she responded to me the next day.
The South Carolina one?
South Carolina one, yeah. She was like, yes, let's fucking do it. Let's go. So...
Sweet.
And
That's a good time of year too, because people. I don't know about those types of that in that area, but like it's starting to get a little more fall, and people are like going indoors and looking for stuff to do.
Yeah.
Especially when it starts getting dark earlier and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's been good. I think it'll be good, and then I'll just put out my stuff at the workshops, and I'm sure I'll sell some stuff at workshops, which will be nice. You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, me.
You'll pretty much be on the road throughout. So.
Yeah, go to Speedball in Pennsylvania. I wanted to hit Delaware. I'm not sure I'm gonna hit it, but yep. And then Atlanta, and then Alabama.
That'll be a long trip from Philly to North Carolina, I bet.
It's not that far.
Oh, it's not?
It's right through Like, I'm gonna go the scenic route, go through Delaware. But I think I'll probably leave on the 8th and end up in North Carolina on the 9th. So, yeah.
Had you been to Speedball before? I know you haven't been to L&L before. You haven't been to Speedball either, right?
Mm-mm. And I'm going to hit my last 2 states of the lower 48.
Which are?
North Carolina and South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah. Exciting.
Nice. Are you going to other cities besides the ones where the workshops are?
Hell yeah, I'm going to Savannah.
Savannah, nice.
I think it's Savannah.
That'd be a great time of year to go.
Am I going to Savannah or what's the other one in South Carolina?
Charleston, South Carolina.
I'm going to Charleston.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
No, it was just Savannah. Charleston.
Savannah, yeah. I mean, North Carolina, the other ones I was going to say would be like, obviously, you're going to say so like Charlotte or like Raleigh. I mean, I love Raleigh, but...
Oh, I think I was going to go to Charlotte.
Charlotte's not that far from Statesville.
I also did not realize how far Charleston is away from... Yep, Charleston is pretty far from where I'm going to be, so it should be interesting. Should be an interesting drive.
You mean from Statesville?
Yeah. So, we'll see. Kind of have to take it by day. But
yeah, that should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have the like commitment of like I know you set goals for yourself to like get emails sent out and see who bites and
really who we have to thank for this is Melissa Beal.
Yeah.
Because she was the one that pushed me really hard to do it. So.
And you were like getting all your little cups ready to go. You had all the underglazes. You had all. Yeah. You were trying to pick and choose which ones you wanted to use.
What colors I wanted. We even have test tiles, guys. Test tiles.
Yeah, she's firing them right now.
Yeah, yeah. Like Melissa basically was like, Becca, you're going to North Carolina anyway. You might as well do workshops, and you might as well make it a thing. And I'm not good at making it a thing, but.
Yeah, why not make money to pay for your trip while you're going around? Yeah,
but she helped me, like, get the email figured out and everything like that. So, she's really the person to thank for this situation. Which, very grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. What else were we going to talk about? We're doing a short episode today, by the way.
Yeah, a short one. Because
we're going to have to record tomorrow, too. And... yeah.
I'm thinking of what other... So I can talk about my trip last week.
Oh, yes! That's what we were going to talk about.
So before talking about my trip from last week, L&L came out with some new accessories for their kiln.
Yeah.
The plug and fire.
Yes.
So there's 3 new accessories. We mentioned them last week, but they've got a wall mount because it could be a little awkward with the like down here. It would be kind of nice with the wall mount because depending on where it is, like if your outlet is not super close or you got to put your the controller somewhere that's stable, that's not like on the ground or somewhere central. So the wall mount's good. They've got that. They've got the casters that you can put on the bottom of the existing stand, or you can put them on the tall stand.
No, the casters are...
I think it's two separate things.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a rolling stand.
I'm going to look it up.
You cannot put casters in my stand.
On the bottom?
No. I remember because I told them that they should have casters. But also, I think it's just the little blue pieces that are on the bottom. So, yeah. But that's very exciting. I'm hoping to get some casters. For sure.
Their Instagram actually shows it on the smaller one.
I know, but it's... You have to buy you have to buy
the stand.
The stand, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if you have to buy the blue if you can buy the blue pieces separate, but this is all good information to ask while looking on the website, and
check them out at hotkilns.com. It's on their website.
Yeah, but the tall stand looks really cool. I think the tall stand is really freaking cool because it's flat. It's a flat pack stand. And so you assemble it, and I think it's all metal, which is really cool.
Yeah, they got that, like, everything that they use to, like, laser cut all the materials for the plug and fire with the stand and the box and everything for that. They just did similar stuff with the stand, so it's easy to put together, and it's nice and stable, and you can get in a spot where it's a little more accessible depending on, what kind of spot you're looking to put your kiln. So
yeah, I'll try to get some videos of all that stuff when I go there. I'm excited to see their factory because I haven't mentioned this in a while, but L&L became like 55 times cooler to me when I found out that their entire factory is powered by solar panels. And I talked to Dimitri's dad. I think his name's Larry. Is it Larry?
I thought it was Steve.
Very confusable, those names. Steve, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, that is so cool. And I think what's even cooler about it is that they'll never make their money back. He did it just because it's good for the environment. And, like, it's just kind of like a passion project for him, which I think is really cool. And says a lot about a company, like they really care about the environment and their contribution to the planet, and that's a pretty cool thing, making this kind of equipment takes a toll, and yeah.
So it says the plug and fire rolling stand, it converts the existing kiln stand to a rolling option.
Yes, you can convert it to...
So it's got custom brackets, swivel casters, and the necessary hardware that you can fit the existing kiln stand that comes with it.
Yeah, because they have little feetsies on the stand that are like blue, and I'm sure that they just remade the blue feetsies with casters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the tall stand is corrosive resistant metal.
Huzzah!
Nice.
Nice
tall stand. And the stand also, you can mount the...
You can. It has a mount on it for the stand.
The controller.
The controller, which is crazy. I'm excited that they came out with that. I think that, like, also this kiln, like, we've been testing in your kiln to get a perfect cone 5.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there. I think it's at 400 degrees per hour until, like, cone 3, till cone 3, and then, I don't know, I'll have to look at it, but if you have one and you're working on getting to a perfect cone 5, let me know, because I'm really close.
And Hope's been trying to chase this perfect cone 5 as well, I believe. Or maybe cone 6, I can't
remember which cone she's going to. But, I think I did 108 degrees for the last 2 hours, or 200 degrees.
Yeah.
And I have a 12-minute hold on it right now. Last time it was a 9-minute hold.
But you're doing like cone 4 hold.
I do a cone 4 with a 12-minute hold.
Yeah.
But with a slow ramp up for the last 200 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sweet. So if you want to look at all those accessories, look at the plug and fire, anything else that you want instructions on with changing elements or videos, you can find all that information at
hotkilns.com.
That was great. Okay, so my trip last week. So I got like a special invite like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Somebody from the Etsy community team reached out to me through email, I think, and they were just like, hey, we've got this opportunity. We would like to invite you to the Etsy headquarters in Brooklyn to basically have you on site and preview the holiday pop-up event that we have in New York City. It's like a first time they've held this event that is meant to like kick off the holiday season and feature a bunch of Etsy sellers and their products in person for people to actually like touch and see, which is pretty neat because they haven't really been doing a lot of in-person events since the pandemic. So yeah, they invited me, and it was like, hey, we're gonna pay for you to come out here, and it's like during the week, so it doesn't conflict with the show that I was doing, which was great. It was kind of like spur of the moment in a way, because I normally wouldn't, do something like that on short notice, but it was like such a good opportunity. There's almost no way I could turn that down.
Yeah, seriously.
So, talked with them about all the things of like what to expect and like when can I come, booking flights, and I was saying like, hey, my wife would like to come. Is that okay? How do we book that? Do I book that separate? All that stuff. So, got everything booked and booked Rachel's, and she came with me, and I didn't know what to expect. I think I was expecting that there would be like 12 to 15 different sellers there, and they were just welcoming a bunch of us, and they were just going to give us a tour, and then we were going to, maybe do a couple things on site with like their social media team or whatever, and then we were going to be expected to like promote the event and also like preview the pop-up. But it wasn't really like that. It was, we got there a day early, so we kind of went around town a little bit. We visited Sarah from Not Work Related, which we just talked to last week on the podcast. So it was kind of timely. I got to see her studio in Brooklyn. Went around to get some dinner, tiki bar, and then all day Wednesday was like on site. They had a whole schedule for us from noon to 7:30 p.m. With them. So it was show up to headquarters, meet everybody, meet the community team members that were hosting us, talk to some of the one of the product teams, some of the other like admins at Etsy, and then be amongst the other sellers that were invited. So it was myself, Nicole from Art to the Extreme, that is a
Crayon lady.
The handmade crayon. By the way, I'm thinking of these different. She says like crayon. I say crayon. I'm sure different people regionally say it different ways.
Crayon?
Crayon. Yeah.
That's how I say crayon.
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 Yeah.
That sounds really weird now that I'm saying it out loud.
I would say crayon.
I would not say crayon. I would not say crayon. That seems really long.
So I think it's regional. I don't know, because there was somebody that I went to school with that said Crin.
Where was she from? Do you remember?
She's from Indy. Well, Noblesville, Indiana.
Oh, Cran.
But she was also very like very marketing, like public relation, kind of like TV ready, kind of like she knew her brand statement and stuff like that. Like she was very TV.
A goody two shoes.
She was very TV ready. Like she was talking about how many like PR appearances she'd had and stuff. So like she had her brand down. So
yeah,
I'm sure saying the word crayon probably doesn't really go.
I'm sure it's really hard to get PR appearances in Indiana.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it was Nicole from Art to the Extreme, and then there was Kelly from Calhoun & Co., she's actually from Brooklyn, so she didn't have to go that far. And she'd worked with Etsy for a few different things before, and I'm trying to see who else I tagged in here.
And then
And then there was another woman from Beautiful Mesh Wreaths, which is Lauren, and she's out of near the Virginia Beach area. So
and
there was
the
only
Charm
four
Lady,
of us.
right? Oh, the Charm Lady wasn't part of that.
No, the Charm Lady was at the holiday pop-up.
Okay.
So the actual like on-site sellers were the three of us, and then myself, and then Rachel actually joined us for like the whole day. She thought she was gonna come in and say like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then we were gonna eat lunch, and she was gonna go, around town or walk or go do her craft or whatever, because she brought some sewing stuff with her, and she ended up spending the whole day with us. So, so that was pretty good.
Well, Rachel's
And honestly,
a big part of your Etsy situation.
yeah, true. Like once we were there and seeing like what was involved and what we were doing, it kind of made sense for her to be there.
Yeah.
Like, in an unexpected way, I was like, oh yeah, like you should be here because you know more about the list. Like she does all the photography, she does all the listings. She's attended some of the promotional, educational kind of webinars they do to talk about like trends and different ways to use like Adobe Express for your shop and all that. So I've been trying to get her to do more of that to
She should do mine.
help out with the Etsy shop. You could probably ask her. I'm sure she'd help.
I'd have to pay her. I need to make more money first.
And then we recently got some replica surfaces to help with the photography and stuff, so the listings look a little better. But yeah, so it was like a full day, and they were just really, all the Etsy people were very like appreciative that we were there. They were like, every time we were walking around the building, they were always like, "We've got Etsy sellers on site. We've got Etsy sellers on site," and we like got to meet some of the different teams, and we got to meet like the chief marketing officer and chief operating officer that was there working in our office, and then also like at the pop-up, which was nice. And they've got this new program called Etsy Loyalty. That's, I'm gonna say it's like a Prime comparable, but they don't like to say that. There's other features to it, but it's kind of like, there's they say like a quote unquote small selection of buyers that are in the program now, but the small selection is like 10,000 buyers. Just Etsy customers that have access to the loyalty program, and it's basically like a new yearly membership that you pay for, and you get different like exclusive access, but also any products that you want to buy that have a shipping cost. If it's lower than $25, your shipping cost is covered. So you basically get free shipping on anything lower than $25 shipping.
That seems like it would pay for itself very quickly.
And yeah, so Etsy pays that shipping to the seller. The seller doesn't lose out on that shipping cost. And then there's other benefits. So like they have a thing called drops and deals. So it's kind of like an exclusive, collaborative, kind of like time sensitive drop that you do with a certain seller. So the item that they were featuring when we were there that was on sale, or that was up for sale, was like it was a little ceramic boot that was 3 inches it kind of looked like a shot glass. And it was it kind of had like a bow painted on it because it was kind of like trendy with Beyonce with like Cowboy Carter and that stuff coming out. So it was an exclusive item that Etsy like communicated with that seller to say, hey, you make these ceramic boots, would you like to do a collaborative drop for this group of buyers? And it's a limited number of quantity available, and then they would get basically a week to buy them. And it's it's kind of like a regular price item, but it's only for that batch. And then if they sell out, then they sell out. And then if they want to open it up to the like general public after, they can do that. And make it available, but it's a time sensitive thing. And then there's the deal side of it was some of the products that the buyers would put on there they would also be curated. It wouldn't just be a random selection of items that Etsy chose to put in there, but they would like work with the sellers to say, hey, would you like to be featured in our deals for this program. And those items are discounted like 50 to 70%, just for those folks. So, and then there were some other things, but those were kind of the focal things that we were talking to them about.
What about trends? You said something about trends.
Trends?
Yeah, well, you said charms were trending, and
what
kind of products are trending right now?
Yeah, so that was at the pop-up. So they kind of featured different trending items for the year, and they had like collections that were in those. So Etsy has like a chief trend officer, I think is what they call her.
That's funny.
So if you've probably seen her on social media. If I'm trying to remember what her name is. I know her last name's Johnson, but I'm trying to remember what her first name is.
Chief Trend Johnson.
Let's see, success.
Guess what, guys? Becca's in trend for once in her life.
Yeah, we were just talking about We were just talking about that last week, and she was like,
Ryan, tell me what you thought. Ryan didn't even know what a charm bracelet was, first off.
No, I knew what they were.
And then I was like, every single girl in the 90s had a charm bracelet. And he was like, everybody? And I was like, yes, everybody. And then...
I didn't hear you say 90s. I thought you said everybody likes charms these days. And I was like, well...
Well, they do. But I think that my sale is... Oh, that's your foot.
You trying to tickle me?
Yeah, that's your foot. I think that the sale kind of like showed that pretty much everybody likes charms still.
The chief Etsy trend expert is Dana Isom Johnson.
There you go.
I met her. Got a photograph with her. Yeah, so what I liked about the loyalty thing was like we actually got to meet with the product team that were building it.
That's cool.
So like they had the head product, I'm going to say product managers that were, because it kind of relates to my day job, because there's a lot of like product managers that we talk to and we're like in the weeds, but they were actually interested in like talking to sellers to understand, hey, what do you think about this? And we got to say like, I'm like, hey, when I'm looking at these deals like 50 to 70% off, I'm like, how do these people make any money on these items if they're 70% off? It was like a cutting board that was listed at $150 and it's selling for like $50 or whatever. And I'm like, how are they making any money on that? That feels like a closeout price. Like, and then we got to like give them feedback like that. And I was asking them about free shipping. I'm like, how many people are, or how many sellers are actually leveraging that like free shipping option? Because, a while ago they were kind of like, hey, you should do this free shipping option because like buyers are going to want to see it. And it kind of made it seem like you had to do free shipping or else you wouldn't be prioritized in the algorithm.
Yeah.
But they were going, kind of giving us insight of like, not like everybody is doing that and not everybody has to do that. It has to be right for your business to say like, hey, this makes sense, because otherwise you include it in the price with the item and like, the total cost is still going to be a factor. So, and then like, they're able to do their analysis of like, is pricing or is shipping price like a deterrent for a lot of people, or is it just, does it seem like it's a deterrent because it would be a deterrent for me as a buyer? So like they get to give a little more insight there, and we get to ask them questions about that, and then give, there was a number of us that are in different situations of, like Lauren, who makes the wreaths, she can't ship anything for less than $25 because it's so big. Yeah. So like she couldn't benefit from that program for buyers. Like buyers can't utilize the shipping benefit, but like, the cost of that for the year for the loyalty program was like, $50 to $60 a year. Mm-hmm. Like that doesn't seem unreasonable. Yeah. If you're already, and their intention was to take buyers that are, maybe they're shopping on Etsy once a year around somebody's birthday. They're trying to get them, hey, maybe we can get them to come back 3 or 4 times a year.
Listen, if Etsy gave me free shipping for anything under $10 or whatever, even $25
of shipping.
I would definitely prioritize Etsy over Amazon for certain things, you know? Like,
Yeah.
if I could look, I would look on Etsy first. You know what I'm saying?
they're trying to get it where you're not going to Google and just looking up
Yeah.
gifts for him. Maybe
Right.
you're going directly to Etsy and saying gifts for him, and you're already choosing to stay in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Rather than casting a wider net to the whole, e-commerce ecosystem.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, like, you can find tools for stuff, too. Like, I got diamond sanding pads for, like, $10 on Etsy once.
oh really?
Like 3,000 grit, yeah. Like 1,500 grit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then I made my own. But, like, yeah, there's, like, other things you can find on Etsy that you wouldn't think about. You know, like these charms that I'm doing, I could buy them on Etsy and sell them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also the lady that I was talking to, who was doing the jewelry at the show, I was asking her where she buys all of her stuff, and I was like, do you buy it from Rio Grande? Because that's where, like, most people buy all their jewelry stuff. And she was like, no, I actually buy it from this lady on Etsy because she, like, all of the sales on her Etsy support her kid and he's like...
But it's like sourcing materials that are building blocks for jewelry?
Right, yeah, for jewelry, like, and so she buys, like, materials from her because her kid's got, like, autism or something, you know, and that's, like, directly helping...
Yeah, it's nice that you can actually know the story behind
exactly.
the sellers and not
and,
just...
like, if I had that option, I think I would choose that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to pay a little bit more, you can pass that on to your customers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And say, like, hey, this is sourced from somebody...
Right,
that's
somebody
in the
local
US
or somebody,
wherever, yeah. Yeah, so I really like that part of it. And, yeah, their office was awesome. It was like, there's little pockets of it that seem corporate because it's just a bunch of desks with, monitors and stuff, but they've got a lot of, like, greenery and foliage, and they got a lot of, they're in Brooklyn, like, facing the Brooklyn Bridge, so it's like a beautiful view.
Yeah.
The rooftop was a really nice view. And of course it's Etsy, so they have Etsy seller items all over the entire headquarters. There's like huge installation pieces that they've commissioned.
That's cool.
For the office. They've like each floor has a like a stained glass mosaic that's in the cafe area of each one, and they're different. I put it on my Etsy reel. I put it on my Instagram reel today. So if you look back a few days, you'll see it when this comes out. But they've got like the radish floor, and they've got the the strawberry floor or whatever, and they've they're super detailed. They've got like a craft room that's over by the dining hall that people can go in there and they can wrap all of their presents in there.
That's cool.
And they've got like all the different crafty kind of things that you could want. But yeah, it was just a really neat office and experience. They were very grateful for us to be there. And then we went into town and went to the pop-up. So the pop-up was in the West Village, which we were walking through it, and they were talking like it's a really good retail spot. Like when we were walking there, there's tons of retail shops all down that strip.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the preview on Wednesday before it opened to the public on Friday. So it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of public-facing event, and it was kind of like a welcome party. They were announcing the Etsy Design Award winners for the year. And you got to see those pieces in person at the pop-up.
Were they any good?
Yeah, they're really good. Like the winner was it was like a huge tablecloth that was like embroidered.
Oh, that's cool.
And it kind of looked like it was playful, and then there was little like plate settings on the tablecloth, like, and it had little words and stuff. You could look at it on their social media. And then there was some different pottery in there. I did see there is a potter that I follow. I think it's Dustin Johnson, maybe, I think he's in Canada. I saw some of his tumblers in there that were at the pop-up. They bought one of my mugs right before I left, and they like rush shipped it to get there on time for the pop up. So one of my mugs was there on display. They had like drinks, hors d'oeuvres, and then they had the three. You mentioned the Jill Makes thing, the Charm Bar. So they had 3 Etsy sellers that were doing kind of like demos on site. So the Charm Bar was a ton of charm options, and you got to pick. Like they had like a Plinko board, and you won something depending on where you landed, and you either won a charm necklace. So Rachel won a 3 charm necklace, so she got to like pick 3 charms, and they made a necklace for her on site. And then there was a live illustrative drawing from someone, and then there was someone that was doing sewing, and she was like using an old like 1950s Singer sewing to do like embroidery on like beanies.
Yeah. So
that's what I got. It was pretty neat talking to them because they were from Raleigh, and I was just in Raleigh, so I was chatting with them about it, and it was her and her husband there, and yeah, it was just a really like well put together event. I think there was over 200 like sellers featured at the pop up.
Wow!
Like from the items that were there, and I mentioned the trends. So they had like the one trend was the charms, I think. So there was an area that was like a bunch of charms featured. They had a kind of like I want to say not medieval. It was like celestial something. I can't remember what they called it, but it was kind of like witchy sort of.
Oh yeah.
Celestial.
Like crystals and like.
Yeah, kind of like astrological, but like not necessarily.
Okay.
And then they had like chromis, which was the other one, which was like chrome colored, like disco balls and chrome colored items that were featured for the trends of the holidays. And I think that was the main stuff. And then they had the featured sections for like Drew Barrymore is one of their featured Etsy. And I'm going to say ambassadors. There's probably a more fancy term that they have, but ambassadors. And then they have Naomi Osaka had her own like collection of Etsy items that she curated that were featured also. So yeah, it was just a really good day, action packed, but also like we had time to talk with them directly. I got to ask them some questions because I was curious about a couple things. I was curious if you made changes to a listing that was selling well. So like I have the shot glasses that are always selling decent. Or, well, I mean, they're my best seller in the shop. And I was like, if I make adjustments to the listing, will it change its ranking at all? Like, does it see that there's changes made to it? And it's like, hey, we're not so sure about this. And we're going to, like, de-rank it for the time until we see that, like, it's good or not. And they said, like, if you're improving your image, because I was talking about improving the images and, like, re-uploading the listing or something like that with just flipping out the images. They said that was fine. It's not going to like harm me or anything in the algorithm. And then I mentioned the mystery boxes a few weeks ago, and I asked them, hey, I've got this mystery box listing that got deactivated that you all sent and said like, hey, you can't relist this because it violates our thing. And they said that I can escalate it to them and talk to them about getting it reactivated and like get it back up to standard. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, improve some things with the listing so that it's not dead anymore. Because I'll actually look today. I think I sold, over the last 4 years, I think, since it's been on there, I've sold like 230 of those mystery boxes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, yeah, it started in I think May of 2020, or April, maybe, is when I started selling them on there.
Yeah, because I got rid of all my shit the year before and did Christmas mystery boxes, didn't I?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right when COVID hit, and I was
selling
stuff online, so
let's
putting them on there.
Let's just realize that all of Ryan's success is actually because of me. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
So they're going to help me with that, which is nice. So I feel like I have a direct line to ask questions and get help with things. that I didn't think about before. Also, I just don't reach out to Etsy support because I feel like it's
Useless?
I feel like it would be useless, but I also feel like it's such a big company that, like, why would they
Care?
answer or care?
Yeah.
Because they have, like, automated emails and stuff that go out about the listing, and I'm like, why would I contact support? But also, like, talking to all of them directly, it's like, no. I mean, would I have priority because of, like, criteria of my Etsy shop, like that I'm a star seller or that I've got X number of sales or X number of like years in Etsy? Like, do I have priority because of that? Like, possibly.
How many sales do you have?
3,700.
Oh.
Yeah. Something like that.
Huh.
And I think I've been on there since 2016. Something like that.
I have 571 sales.
Nice. That's more than I thought you would have on there.
Yeah. Dude, my Etsy's been open since like...
Well, because you kind of...
2012.
You kind of shut it for a while.
I didn't do anything with it, but it's still been there.
Yeah.
I've had it since 2012.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of back and forth of like, should you have it, should you not have it, what should you have, like, what are the costs involved? I'm just like, it's the lowest cost option. I don't know, like lowest cost for entry level people needing to start selling online. So I'm like, why not at least start there? But I'm also like, hey, you could be open to doing your own site and all that, but I'm like, the search and like all these people that are buying these items that don't know me, I'm gonna stick with it. But doesn't mean that I can't also have another selling avenue in the future that is like on my website or otherwise. But I'm just like, spread your options and see what sticks and what doesn't stick.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also I thought New York would be more like hustle bustle. Maybe it was because it was my first time in Brooklyn, but it was less so than I thought. So it was like more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be being in New York. Obviously good food options, and the tiki bars, but everything is super expensive. So I'm glad I wasn't paying for all that out of pocket, but like we got like, went to a cafe the first day we got there and got two drinks and lunch, like 2 breakfast sandwiches or whatever, $60.
Fucking insane. Insane.
And I also figured out what a dirty chai was there.
Yeah, he didn't know that a dirty chai meant it had espresso in it.
I was thinking like a spice chai where it's like the fall version of chai, where it's not the just basic version. It's just got extra spices in it. I thought that's what that was.
That's the only way I like chai is actually dirty chai.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cold. Like a cold, dirty chai.
Yeah. It wasn't served cold, but... Okay.
Yeah, iced, I guess. I don't know. But when I was in Leavenworth, that's the only way I could get through the the evening on Sundays. I'd always get a dirty chai. Get me all the way home without falling asleep.
Their bagel to cream cheese ratio was way off, but...
No, you're way off, okay?
Rachel even said that was more than she would have
Rachel is also way off. I've never said this in my life about Rachel and cheese, but she's wrong. And listen.
What about in the cottage cheese, though?
The cottage cheese and Rachel
she's wrong in the opposite way.
She's a phenomenon in the cottage cheese situation, okay? Rachel goes through 2 pint-sized things of cottage cheese. No, it's not even a pint. It's a quart.
It's 16 ounces, right? Or is it a quart?
I don't know. The big ones.
The container.
The container of cottage cheese. Rachel goes through 2 of those a week, and she couldn't put an inch of cream cheese on her bagel. And I'm over here. They had a bagel.
24 ounces.
A 24-ounce thing of cottage cheese. She goes through 48 ounces of cottage cheese a week. And she can't handle an inch of cream cheese on her bagel? No. Listen.
Her, the one that she got was the truffle cheese or whatever. Which, they put less of it, obviously, because truffle's more expensive. But,
yeah.
That seemed like, I don't know, you got like the
I got
dollop, the schmear, that was as thick as the bagel.
As it
itself.
should be, okay? I went and got a bagel the same day you got that bagel because I was like, wow, that looks delicious. And you know what they gave me? 2 tiny, tiny fucking things of cream cheese, and I was like, this is depressing.
Kind of like the mini cups.
Yeah,
the
the cups.
The little square of margarine.
Like 2 cups of cream cheese is not enough. Okay? Not enough. You need at least 4. At least 4.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. How were the bagels, though?
They were good. I'm glad the second day we got sandwiches. So I got bacon, egg, and cheese.
On a bagel.
On a bagel. It was delicious. Yum. We had to rush out of there because we had to get to the airport, but oh man, that second half in the airport, so good.
I am upset now because I asked.
She didn't see your text. You were asking for it, but she didn't see it until we were in the airport.
That is upsetting.
I swear.
That is upsetting. I asked Rachel to bring me back bagels, and she didn't see it until later. I should have texted you. God damn it.
Yeah. I don't know why she didn't see it, though.
She didn't see a lot of my texts.
She was on her phone a little bit, like, on the drive there, but I guess she just didn't look at text.
Yeah.
And also, the freaking Uber driver, apparently he was, like, about to shit himself or something, trying to get to the airport, because he was rushing. Yeah, I hope he made it safely, but I feel for you. I'm like, how do you go... Yeah, like, where do you go to the bathroom if you're driving Uber all day, but... Especially around town like that, but...
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so... It was a good little 3-day trip. I feel like that was... I mean, obviously you could spend more time there, but... I feel like with the amount of time and the amount of money you spend...
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time. And I almost got pickpocketed once.
Oh, yeah, but
Attempted pickpocket.
Attempted pickpocket, but he was prepared.
I put my wallet in the front pocket.
Yep.
Which I have been doing for a while. Never been pickpocketed, knock on wood. But the guy tried. It was so we ended up doing... So we did the whole day on Wednesday with Etsy till 7:30. Went to get a smash burger after. Went to the tiki bar after. Mm-hmm. And then we went to the small comedy club of the Comedy Cellar. Mm-hmm. The, like, bar version of it. And then we didn't... So we were trying to get on the train at, like, 12:15, 12:30 at night. And that's when it was happening. So we were, like, trying to navigate. And the subway is, like... on the subway, some of them have, like, decent technology of seeing where all the stops are.
Right.
Ahead of you and all that. But some of the signage is not completely obvious. And, you know, in some cities, like in Washington, they've got the signs on the wall so you can see exactly what stops are ahead for that train. Or that train. And there they do not have that. So I was trying to navigate on my phone, and apparently I was looking a little touristy. He's like, I might get this guy. And then he kind of like snuck by Rachel, and then snuck by me, and then got on the train. It wasn't the one that we were getting on, but he got on the train. And I felt like a slight tap on my back right pocket.
Yeah.
So.
He just wanted to feel your butt.
Yeah. The little butt there is.
The little booty.
So, yeah, that was exciting.
That is exciting. Who doesn't love a good pickpocketing story?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just here working away.
Yeah. Did you you probably got did you get like more work? I'm going to say more work done, but did you like set your schedule and
Oh, I got shit ton of work done, especially with you being gone, because I made it as messy as I wanted to.
Yeah, I appreciate you cleaning it up. Cause
well,
did you do that? Yeah.
Why wouldn't I clean it up? That's a fucking bitch move. Who would
well,
do that?
Some of it you don't know how much you're gonna clean it up until you like.
It was clean when I got there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking
That's true.
leave it not as clean as I got there. My mom raised me right.
That's true. And that is the shared space. So if you were like in a separate spot and you're like, okay, this is my dedicated space, I can get as messy as I want. And I can clean it when I need to.
Yeah.
So like, exactly. I need that spot for something.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was good. Oh, and me and Ryan built a display for my earrings, and I love it.
Oh yeah, we did.
And
good old pegboard.
Pegboard and hinges, made a square, and we could have made it easier by not putting it on hinges and just like securing it, but I wanted it to be able to fold out so it could be flat and I could put it in the van. And then we put it on top of a speedball bat.
Yes, we did.
And then on top of a Shimpo banding wheel, and boom, the most beautiful display.
It worked out well. I think that was probably better than what we were kind of talking about initially.
Yeah.
Of like hiding the bat, but the bat was good complementary.
Well, the bat kind of shows you that it turns, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of bats.
Yeah. We've got our face on a bat.
We do have our face on a bat.
Yeah, it feels appropriate because we were just visiting Sarah. Sarah has a bat. The purple bats.
Yep.
We have a bat.
The pink bats.
The pink bats. Kayla has a bat. Are they calling it teal?
They're calling it teal.
Teal bats.
Yep. It's very similar to the blue, but it is more green. For sure.
I like that better.
I like the teal better for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm using all speedball underglazes for my workshops.
Yeah. You even made some new colors.
I did. Because sometimes they're out of certain colors, and I wanted a more fall lineup. And I was like, straight up, I was like, I don't really care what colors they are. It's fine. People can do whatever. And then I got the colors, and I was like, I actually care more than I thought I did. Mm-hmm. And, but also, you know, like, I asked for Carmine, and that was out of stock. So they sent me something else, which was absolutely A-okay. And
which it should be, because that's a really good color.
Yeah,
I love that more than the other reds. So.
And so I ended up mixing some, like, purple and blue into it so I could get a little bit more of a folly type red. And then, you know, just mixing some... Yeah, like, I think that what's cool about all underglazes in general is that you can mix them. I really appreciate the vivid colors of Speedball because when you do mix them, they really show up nice. It's nice. So, yeah, I've got 12 colors for my workshops that are all Speedball underglaze. Very exciting.
I would suspect those new formulas also mix easier, too, right?
Yes, they're perfect. They mix great. Yeah. And yippity yep yeppers.
Do you have the little tune for Speedball?
SPEEDBALL Speedball.
All right.
That's what's up.
All right. Speedballart.com.
And I'm going to be there in a week, 2 weeks. Not only am I going to L&L, but I'm going to Speedball, and I'm going to tour the facility. Huzzah!
Yeah, that's great.
I'm excited, and I'll be able to film some of it. I know some parts of I'm sure some parts of every facility you can't film. So, yeah.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was one other... So I got my soda workshop coming up with... the guests. I've got 6 folks doing that in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And that made me think of the guy that was at the show this weekend. So there was one guy that was trying to get a deal. He was wanting a couple bottles, and it was such a small footprint, so I was like iffy about putting my soda pieces out, because usually I like to separate them from the other ones so that there's delineation, as well as when somebody picks it up, I can call out that area that they're looking at and say, hey, these are different because... And the bottles, I didn't have enough room, so the bottles were intermixed, the mugs were intermixed. I did soak a few soda mugs, which was great. And there was a guy that was wanting to get some bottles and wanting to pay cash for them, but he did not want to pay full price. So he was looking at a soda bottle and a regular bottle, $52 soda bottle, $38 regular bottle, $90 retail. Well, first off, he came in like, hey, do I get a deal if I get two of them?
Coming in hot!
And I was basically like, it depends on what two you're talking about. Because I was thinking maybe he's going to pick out two carved ones, which are $55 a piece. You know, $110. I get it. Like, that's expensive to some people. And, you know, if I need to knock off like $5 off a couple $55 ones, like, I can do that. And then, you know, the smaller bottles, I wholesale those all the time. So, like, I'm willing to go for less money. But, so he was picking up the $38, the $52, that's $90 retail. I did offer him $5 off. He wanted $10 off. And then he was going back and forth with me about, well, you know, would you take 80? And then I'm like, no. He's asking, well, what if it's cash? I give you cash. And I'm like, well, I still got to pay the tax on it. I'm still paying the tax, man. He's like, oh, you're not just putting that in your pocket? And I'm like, no, I'm still paying the tax on it.
He's like, you're talking to the wrong person in this booth.
And then, you know, he's asking me, well, what's the best deal you can get for me? I'm like, 85. That's the best I can do. And I'm like, there's other options here. You can get another bottle here that's $38 that is going to get you at less than $80 for two bottles. You don't have to get that specific one. And he was like, let me think about it. And I'm like, all right.
Did he just walk away?
So he was with another guy too, but yeah, they ended up walking off. They didn't come back, but
yeah, it serves him right.
I feel good about it because I was like, normally I don't just say no, but also I was getting a little bit like irritated in my voice when he was going back and forth with me about it.
It's so fucking annoying.
About this like forcing me to take the cash and not say a word about it. Yeah. Acting like I'm doing like an under the table deal with this, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sacrifice especially I felt it more because it was a soda bottle too, because I'm like, I know what goes into making these.
Yeah, you're like,
I don't feel so bad about the other bottle. And I'm like, if you want to get two of these $38 bottles, so that'd be less than $80. And even if I gave you $5 off of two regular bottles, I would totally do that.
Right.
And I would give that to you for...
You're like, you, sir, don't know how steep the hill is in my backyard.
And also, and he was asking, why is this different? And I was like, well, the process is different. It's fired differently. It's more involved. This went through a firing that took 14 or 15 hours. I was nursing it. So I did talk to him about the process too. And I'm like, that's why this price is different. And he was like, well, I like that one.
Well,
and I'm like...
Yeah, and that's why, bitch.
So to me, the discount felt steeper on my soda pieces, and it was like undercutting the work that I do to do the soda. And I'm like, no. But if he would have done another piece that was just a standard bottle, I think I could have probably made it happen. But yeah, I felt good about it, but also a little more defensive about it than I have in the past well, I don't know. I feel like I get comments about deals every now and then, but I don't know if did I tell you the story about the lady at a show that was asking for a deal and I ended up doing a coin flip? Did I tell you about that?
No!
Oh, so that was kind of the end of that. He ended up not buying it, so that's fine. I'm fine with not making an extra $80 on that, but so there was a lady. It was was that
the first day or the second day?
That was the second day, I think.
Okay, because I was gonna be like, if it was the first day, then you could have beat me on sales, but you didn't
It was a
You
little.
lost.
It was a little slow. You're talking about quantity of transactions.
Yeah.
I have to be like your autocorrect there. You're like, she's leaving some context out here every time she says it.
Every time
and then
that
she
people,
loves it every time.
time that people have asked us how the show went, I've been like, well, I beat Ryan on sales. I did 37 sales and he only did 36.
Yep.
I did make $700 less than him, but it's fine.
That's the fine print.
Nobody needs to know that.
So it was. I can't remember the show. I think it was one of my summer shows or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was near the end of the day. It was a group of women, and they were interested in. I think it was just a couple I think it was a couple bottles too, and they were like 10% discount, right?
No.
And then, I was like getting them. They were like picking through them. They were talking to one another about which ones they liked, and
Yeah.
And then they ended up. The one woman ended up getting two, and I don't even think it was the woman that was gonna buy it that said the 10% discount. It was her friend.
Yeah.
And she was like, the guy down there was gonna give us a 10% discount or whatever.
Go over there.
And then so I ended up at the very end. She was buying it, and I was like, let me tell you what. What if we do a coin flip? And if well, for one, I was gonna say, I feel like it would have been a little risky. I was like, I can add money to it if the flip doesn't work in your favor, or I could discount it.
Oh my god.
So like you flip and you either get a discount or you pay more. But I didn't
Pay
do that.
10% more, pay 10% less.
So I basically did a coin flip for if it flips the right way, then you'll get a 10% discount or $5 off or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but I think
What
it was
happened?
10%. She ended up, it flipped in her favor and she got 10% off.
Well, there you go.
And she loved it, and everybody was they were like cheering together and whatever. And she walked away happy, but I feel like doing something a little more fun that way. Maybe somebody asked you for a discount, maybe doing the 10% less or 10% more would be like, now do you really want to do it? Because if I flip this coin, you're going to either...
That's a great idea. It would be cool if you made a coin that was specific for that. Like, just flattened one out and was like 10% more, 10% less on the other side. You should do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that. If I start doing shows again, I'm absolutely going to make a coin like that.
Are you going to do that? Like, if somebody asks you, and then you're going to say, I'll tell you what, I've got this coin, and then do they have do they have to choose, they can still choose to not flip the coin and just pay the regular price?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I love that idea. I mean, I think that really like shows them like what they're doing financially, you know? It's like, listen, if it comes in my favor, you're going to actually be paying me more money, which is what I deserve anyway.
I feel like that's fair, because why put the seller in the situation where they have to feel guilty and not guilty, but they feel pressured to discount because otherwise they won't get the sale. But if you're already committed to buying it.
But then you have to follow through too, though. Like you can't just be like, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like.
What do I owe you?
Right, like, you'd have to be like, we got a pinky promise on this shit, you know, like...
As soon as I flip this coin, whatever it lands is what it's going to be.
What it's going to be.
I'm going to flip it, I'm going to catch it, I'm going to flip it in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you also have to be like, okay, if you have to pay 10% more, and they're like a little baby about it, you'd have to stick to your guns and be like, all right.
Also, that could be a big chunk, depending on what they're buying.
Yeah, I mean, $100, that's $10, yeah.
And they can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to get this other mug then because I'm going to be paying 10% more on it.
Right, it's got to be like deal or no deal, like...
You're committing to the thing that you're picking out already.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that on the Square to add 10% to it, but you could probably just do a custom.
Just add it in your brain.
Yeah.
That's easy. Yeah.
Nice.
I like that.
You can make a little coin or make a few little coins.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, she enjoyed it, but I was like, I mean, I'm not going to do it just because you keep asking me, but I'll at least leave it up to chance. That feels fun for me and for you.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Because then you're like, well, I lost fair and square. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, that's it. I feel like that's the couple of stories to bookend that.
Yeah.
We're at an hour and a half.
We probably won't have as long of a recap next week because we'll be doing it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll go right to listener questions or right to a topic, whatever.
You never know.
Yeah.
How long was this one?
An hour and a half.
Nice.
It's a good.
Somebody
good
messaged me and was like, I love how you and Ryan think a short episode is an hour. Like,
I mean, compared to the average episode that we have, an hour is short.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we were talking with Sarah, and Sarah's like, oh, we should keep it around an hour and a half max.
Yeah.
And it goes 2 hours and 20 or whatever.
Yeah. Listen, we're just enjoyable people. Yeah. Okay?
And when people are going back and forth, you might as well just keep digging.
Keep digging.
I'm going to keep going until they tell me to stop.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The purple rabbit jumped over the bucket.
The purple rabbit jumped over the bucket.
The purple rabbit jumped over the bucket.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.